Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Deck Podcast. This is your host, Joseph Mazrak. We're about to get started, but before we do, I want to make a quick announcement. We are having a giveaway. Reviews are super important to new podcasters like me, so in episode 7, we will be giving away a free deck of the Blue Deck branded playing cards to one of my iTunes reviewers. 1 star, 5 stars, that doesn't matter. It's just my way of saying thank you for being involved in helping to support the channel. And oh yeah, if you want me to, I'll even sign the jokers. Also, I want to thank Brian Wages for our most excellent intro music. Brian is an incredibly humble and talented guy. He's a great person to know, and his music is available on iTunes. Now, without any further ado, here's a recap of last episode.
Over an extravagant picnic, Charles, Don, and Ozzy learn the importance of Captain Kidd's merit badges. Wherever the captain is from, in that place, when a kid learns a difficult skill, does something brave, or acts nobly, the Patch Fairy visits them at night and leaves a merit badge under their pillow. The problem is, this strange fairy has gone missing. The captain bids his farewell, and later that day, Charles and his friends gather outside hoping to find Captain Kidd again. They do not find him, however, and as Charles returns to his home, he's left with an inescapable feeling that something special is about to happen, maybe even something magical. That evening, lying in bed, in a moment of inspiration, he tucks his hand beneath his pillow, sure he will find a patch hidden there by the Patch Fairy. Unfortunately, there is no patch. Disappointment and doubt wash over him until he has another bright realization. Jacksonville might not have a Patch Fairy, but that doesn't mean they're completely without magic. There's still a God to pray to at night, always him, overlooking everything everywhere. Charles breathes out a prayer, catching it in his fist, and quickly tucks the prayer beneath his pillow. God would find it, his secret wish, even if the fairy could not. What had he prayed for on that enchanting summer night? That Captain Kidd would find his fairy and Charles could help him do it.
And now, Into the Attic of the World, Chapter 3, Into the Lake We Go. The next morning we found the boys' raft tied to a tree. Ozzy first spotted it secured along the wooded side of the lake. There was no walkway on that side, and we rarely went that way, too thick with briars. Also, there were snakes, bad ones like copperheads and water moccasins. Occasionally, a group of us would cast off such concerns in favor of adventure, but always someone returned with a blood-sucking tick hiding under their clothes. Ozzy asked, "You think he's in the woods?" I looked at him. "Like camping? Maybe." Don grimaced. "You think he's spent the night out there? The bugs would carry him away. He'd have spiders crawling in his hair and—" She shivered. "Ew!" William grinned wickedly. "Or a gator would grab him by the head and drag him underwater." She swatted his arm. "Shut up! That's mean." "I'm going to check it out," William said. He looked at me. "Want to come?" I eyed Ozzy. We both shrugged. Why not? Dawn crossed her arms. "I want to go." The three of us boys looked at her skeptically. She wasn't invited, obviously because she was a girl and a pretty one at that. She might even get scratched, heaven forbid, or come upon a bug or 10. She'd already voiced that concern. Worse yet, possibly a snake could slither out of the briars. Excluding her would be a jerk move, I knew that, but also I knew sometimes boys needed to feel braver than girls. I came up with a compromise. Okay, but William leads the way. That satisfied everyone, although it wasn't like we could stop her from going any more than she could stop us. With eyes hidden behind the glossy black lenses of his sunglasses, William examined the raft in the water, the tree the craft was tied to, and the scraggly overgrown ground between. Then he proceeded. With his black hair combed back and in a plain white t-shirt and blue jeans, he looked like a kid from the 1950s, not a 90s hoser with an accountant for a father. He frequently dressed that way. Of our gang, he was the coolest by far and would have been the leader without question, but he was too shy for that. Ozzy followed him to the edge of the thicket. Ozzy was in a baggy pair of gym shorts and a grungy tank top. Also, that summer he was never without his shredded Oakland Athletics ball cap. Dawn looked at me, and I gestured for her to go ahead. Then into the thicket the four of us marched, until we reached the raft, which was moored to the trunk of a crepe myrtle full of pink blossoms. "That's pretty," Dawn said. Oz reached up, shaking one of the branches, and the tiny pink petals rained down onto the dirt and into the water. William ducked beneath the tree, his sneakers grinding the fallen flower petals into the muck. When I saw the impression left by his shoes, I looked along the strip of sandy soil at the waterline. There were the broad forked tracks of waddling ducks and some other sort of divots left by something smaller, but no human tracks other than William's. I pointed. "Where's his tracks?" The others studied the ground. A mystery. A number of rational explanations could have explained what we were saying, rather what we were not saying, but Dawn said, "He's hiding on it someplace." She was looking at the raft. That made no sense. The raft was a floating floor, no walls or partitions of any kind. As the boy had said, it was made from logs and such, strung together. Though, as I examined the raft more closely, even with it still well away from the bank, I spotted bits and pieces of it that were less rudimentary. "Pull it here," I said. William tugged the rope, but the raft wouldn't budge. "Must be anchored," he suggested. I shaded my eyes. I could see no rope other than the one William held. So, why was it stuck? I tested the rope for myself. It gave up a few inches of slack and then nothing. The raft would not budge. "Must be anchored," I agreed. "Or stuck," Ozzy said, although I saw nothing in the water for it to be hung up on. Dawn shook off her flip-flops. "I'm going in there." Then she dug in her back pocket for a hair tie. With her hair pulled back out of her face, she stepped boldly into the water. William, Ozzy, and I just watched. She went first into the shallow, but then deeper. In her blue jean cutoffs, the splashing water only wet her bare legs, not her clothes. When she reached the raft, she was standing in water halfway up her thighs. She turned to us and smiled, her hands lifting victoriously into the air. "See? Easy!" Then she tested the raft, pushing down on a corner. It wouldn't move for her either. "Seems pretty solid to me," she said. I looked at my pants, then to William and Ozzy's legs. Ozzy was in shorts, yes, but much longer than Dawn's, and William was wearing blue jeans, same as me. "I guess we're going in," I said. As William and I took off our shoes and socks, Ozzy kicked his Reeboks into the air and charged gracefully into the water, splashing so much that not only were his shorts soaked, but also his shirt. He was so wet he might have dived in. It made us all laugh, including Dawn, who he drenched in the process, falling on her and groaning like a mummy in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. By the time William and I joined them in the water, they were already climbing aboard. As I climbed onto the raft, I saw how incredibly sturdy it was built. The logs fit so tightly together I couldn't see the water between the cracks. Also, all the middle logs were smoothly split, so the floor we stood upon was flat and without splinters. Dawn felt with her wet foot at the rounded bracket set into the floor plank. It was polished brass, a heavy bit of hardware, one of the pieces I'd noticed not made from material harvested from the forest. "The cell goes in there," I guessed. Hands on her hips, water dripping down her neck and black dirt speckling her arms, Dawn traced a large rectangle along the floor with her toe. Her toenails were painted purple, but the paint was flaking off. "Look," she whispered. She was focusing our attention on a shape cut into the rough planks. Our youthful detective minds identified the purpose at once, a secret compartment. Then Dawn's words came back to me. He's hiding on it someplace. As it turned out, she was right.